Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft, here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning. Good morning.
So I had other plans last night. Did the Lakers play?
Man, go ahead on, Skip. Look, it was Dr. King's Day. It's all about peace. It's all about love. It's all about getting along, Skip.
It was Dr. King's Day, not the King's Day.
Yeah, Dr. King's Day. It was Dr. King's Day. It was a holiday, so he's all about peace and loving and getting along. So don't get me riled up.
The opponent feel better about itself.
I didn't sleep a wink last night.
We're not going to have any peace on this show today. Plenty to get to. Should LeBron be embarrassed by the Lakers' performance last night? We'll go there, and is Patrick Mahomes surpassing Tom Brady off the field? But first, we've got to talk about those two on the field. Pro Football Focus has graded their highest-rated postseason performances by a quarterback, and Patrick Mahomes' current playoff run sits at the top. Right behind Mahomes is Aaron Rodgers' Super Bowl run from 2010, and coming in third is Tom Brady in 2017, where he came up short against the Eagles in the Super Bowl, but put up nearly flawless numbers. So, Shannon, do you agree with this ranking?
So far, Skip, he's been good as we've seen. 8 total touchdowns, 0 interceptions. No, 9 total touchdowns, 8 through the air, 1 on the ground. Obviously, that great touchdown run that we saw on Sunday. He's gotten off to the start, and when you factor in, Skip, he's down by 24. He's down Sunday twice by 10 points and able to pull that off. There's a reason why when you look at him, you are just in awe of what he's capable of doing. You and I both know, with those same weapons, if they fall behind by 24 with Matt Moore, they're not winning those games. They fall behind by 10 with Matt Moore, they're not winning those games. So sometimes, Skip, in the regular season, you see a star quarterback goes out and you're like, well, anybody can do that. Look at all the... No, you can't. You have to be, he's immensely talented. Now, here's the thing. When they did this, Skip, they based it on 3 games, okay? Because Tom was obviously, I think he was the number 2 seed. But he played 3 games. Rodgers was a wild card. He played 4 games. Rodgers topped it off with the win. Brady didn't win it.
Okay. So you're talking about Brady in 2017.
Brady in 2017, because that's what they're looking at right now.
That's their third best,
That was
right?
their third best.
Rodgers, 2010 was their
2010,
second
the year
best.
he won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Mahomes, now he's going to have to finish it off in order to do this. Now, the thing that he has working in why he can be number 1, Skip, I believe, is that he doesn't have a Derrick Henry. He does not have the 85 Bears or the 2000 Ravens defenses. We know if they win this, it's going to be on his arm. It's as simple as that. I wish I could say, Williams might have one of these breakthrough games, or Shady McCoy might get in a time machine and revisit what he once was in Philly. You and I both know that's not happening. If Chiefs are to win this game, Patrick Mahomes is going to have to be flawless like he's been in this playoffs. But, Skip, how soon do they forget? It's hard for me to believe that somebody had a better playoff run than Joe Flacco in 2012. Skip, he was 11-0. 11 touchdowns, 0 pick, and he beat 2 Centennial. 2 of the 10 Centennial quarterbacks, he beat them on the road. Peyton Manning in Denver, Tom Brady in New England. And he beat Andrew Luck for good measure. We threw that one in there too, Skip.
Yep.
So it's hard for me to believe. So Nick Foles don't count? Because what about, Skip, now you said Nick Foles played the 2 best games that you had ever seen.
I agree with that.
And then yesterday, last week you told me Aaron Rodgers, he beat Caleb Haney because Jay Cutler was getting ready for the Tour de France. He beat Caleb. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Okay. And so you're disqualifying number 2.
I'm disqualifying 2 and 3 because Tom Brady ain't win. You got to win. You got to win, Skip Bayless.
Okay.
And my homeboy, if my homeboy pulls this off, he's going to have to be somewhere around 350, Skip, probably 4 or 5 touchdowns. So if he's up there around 9, so that'll be 12, 13, 14 total touchdowns with 0 interceptions, yes, this would be there's no question about it, Skip. This would be, and he was at a 97.8 QBR, which is the 3rd best since they've been tracking that. Matt Ryan had one that I think was 98, and Brady was 98.1 a couple of years ago. But Mahomes is off to a great start. Right now, Skip, he gets an incomplete because he still has another game to play.
I have a whole lot to say about everything you just said, so I'm going to have to sort of scatter shoot through it. I'm going to have to go to Joe Flacco first. I agree with you. That was an amazing run by Joe Flacco. But I think you forgot or overlooked there was an even more amazing run in the same playoff stretch by this guy. I guess we've forgotten him. Oh, his name is Colin Kaepernick, okay?
Okay.
Colin Kaepernick had a QBR of 92 in his playoff run. The same year Flacco in 2012 had an 81 QBR.
No, I was just talking about in the game. He had a 97 in the game.
Okay, I got it. But I'm doing the 3 games.
Okay.
That remember, Colin Kaepernick in 2012, he ran and threw wild on Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers at home. It was 45-31. But remember, he ran for 181 yards in that game.
Right.
And then they go to Atlanta, and they were the underdog at Atlanta because we thought
Atlanta
Ryan
jumped out early.
Oh, they jumped out early, and Colin wasn't great in that game, but he was pretty good. He was good enough that they won the football game. And then, of course, they go play Joe Flacco's Ravens, and it goes to the last throw of the game. I thought it was interference. I thought it was pretty obvious. It was uncalled. But Colin was really good. He threw for 302 in that Super Bowl. I thought he was really great in his run. So I could say his run was at least as good as Joe Flacco's.
Right.
So that Colin playoff run should be up in this top 5 to me. Okay.
Considering QBRs, but you base it on running and throwing.
Okay. So I know how much you love my homeboy. But the point is, we only have a 2-game sample size here.
Yeah.
So I'm having a hard time overreacting to this because it's laughable overreaction to say that these 2 games qualify him as all-time great because we're just doing, and again, I love Pro Football Focus, but they're just doing it in, you hate these words, you hate the word vacuum because you say I don't vacuum. So I do vacuum occasionally when I'm forced to vacuum, but in this case, we're just doing him in a vacuum that should be disqualified because the opponents aren't good enough and both opponents are at home. So now we're back to your favorite word, which is context, right? What are the context of these 2 wins? Well, you beat the Bill O'Brien coached 10-6 Houston Texans at Kansas City. It's just not good enough. You were a 9.5-point favorite going into the game, right? So if you torch them, I'm not surprised because you probably should torch them.
He was down 24, Skip.
Okay, so you got down 24-0. Now I'm going to use the Dak Prescott Green Bay argument right back against you because you always tell me, how did the Cowboys fall behind 31-3 at home to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, right? Okay, well, how did they? Well, you say, where was Dak? And I said, well, the defense.
We going to say anything about that block punt?
Okay, well, what we're going to say is you fell behind 24-0 at home because the first 3 times you had the football, Patrick Mahomes, you went not 3 and out, but you went out. You had to punt it the first 3 times you had the football.
Well, tell her what happened.
Okay.
You didn't tell her what happened. Kelsey dropped the ball. Sammy Watkins dropped the ball. Marcus Robinson dropped the ball on 3rd down. Tell that now. I need you to tell the whole story.
I see 12 plays for a grand total of 46 yards in your first 3 times. And a couple of those throws were not exactly on target.
On the money.
Stop it. So he had to have some responsibility for falling behind 24-0. So can't we dock him for that? Can't we say, gee, that's 1 quarter out of 8 that you were not very good in, right?
So we go do nothing about that block punt, huh?
Okay, well, that's not, again, he has nothing to do with the block punt, but still, that helped you fall behind 24-0 because you had the football and you couldn't do anything with it the first 3 times against a pretty mediocre Houston Texans defense. That's just me.
Okay.
So now we go to Aaron Rodgers, and I'm glad you brought that up. And this is the second best, according to Pro Football Focus, run.
Right.
And again, they were a road wild card team.
Correct.
So he outdueled Michael Vick at Philadelphia and Matt Ryan at Atlanta, and the Falcons were just pathetic in that game. But Aaron was great in that game.
Right.
And he was pretty good against Michael Vick. But again, the Caleb Haney game, go look at the whole second half. Cutler's on the bicycle. Caleb Haney shouldn't be on the football field. He probably didn't deserve to be in the league as a backup quarterback, but they had actually Todd Collins was actually hurt too.
Right.
So Aaron Rodgers got to play Caleb Haney, and he threw what was almost a pick 6 to Urlacher that got returned down to the 3-yard line. And look at his numbers in the second half. They were pretty pathetic, and they just barely hung on to beat the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Okay, and then in the Super Bowl, Polamalu, according to my friend Ryan Clark from ESPN, should not have played because he had a pulled hamstring, so he could barely sort of wobble onto the field. And, Aaron was good. He threw one great ball to Greg Jennings that basically broke the game open. But is that the greatest playoff run? Because he gets disqualified by his second half in the NFC Championship game on the road at Chicago.
But I love how you try to minimize, that was a Bill O'Brien coach team. So is Doug Marrone going to the Hall of Fame? And who was the quarterback that Tom Brady was going against Jacksonville? Blake Bortles.
So now we're doing that?
That's what you did.
What was that defense called coming into that game? It was called Saxonville. It was the number one ranked defense in pro football.
So what's Tennessee?
Okay, we're going back to which was that. This is the 2017 run.
Yes, correct.
Because the truth is, if we have time on this show and we don't, I could pick just about any Brady playoff run, and I could make it top 5. Just about any one of them, but I can make several of them top 1.
But here's the thing, though. But you heaped great praise on the Titans defense when they did that number to Tom Brady in New England. You heaped me even more praise in what they did. They took the ball away from Lamar Jackson 3 times in Baltimore.
Okay.
Now all of a sudden they get to go against my homeboy, and got him down 10 on 2 different occasions.
Okay. Kansas City was a 7-point favorite in that game, and you called them last week a Cinderella team because they were 9-7.
Yes, I told you what would happen. I said in the fourth quarter it would become very obvious that this Cinderella run is over.
Okay, so they beat the 10-6 Bill O'Brien coached Texans and Cinderella, and they were a 9.5-point favorite and then a 7-point favorite. And we're saying this is the greatest 2 playoff games ever played?
But
what are we talking about?
No, Skip. When you look, they're factoring in touchdown and interception. They're factoring in QBR. They're factoring in he led the team in rushing both times. You don't expect a quarterback to gain 50, unless it's Lamar Jackson, to gain 53 yards in both games, pick up 4 first downs in both games. That's not what you're expecting from him. But Tom Brady called an L in the Super Bowl. So
now we're back to 2017.
But that's my thing.
Let's look at 2017.
Okay.
The first game was against the Titans, and they weren't very good, so I'll say that was just average.
Right.
Okay? But then the next game, you have to put it in the context of the defense he's playing against. He had 12 stitches in the palm of his hand.
My goodness.
That's not easy. It's not easy to throw 12 stitches freshly stitched in your hand.
Fresh nothing. You made that up.
I didn't make it up.
It ain't no fresh. Fresh means it happened the day of. That's fresh.
Fresh.
You can't make no. You can't.
How about Wednesday before?
Hold on. You go to Whole Foods and they say it's fresh break. It's on Saturday and it was a Monday fresh break. It ain't fresh break.
Fresh cut.
No, that was Wednesday.
Fresh stitches.
They done put crazy glue, got the stitches in there. He good. What did Coach Belichick say? It ain't open heart surgery. That's what he said.
You know what? That line out of his mouth might have been the death knell for Brady and Belichick. That might be why. That line still sticks in Tom Brady's craw to the point. That's why he's about to become a free agent.
Well, I just know what Coach Belichick says. I've got to take him at his word.
Okay. So what happened in that game? Let's do context again, because the truth is, Patrick Mahomes won these 2 games going away.
Yeah.
Did it require any great late clutch throws from Patrick Mahomes? No. It did not.
Once we got the lead, it was over.
But you just steamrolled them once you got it going.
That was a clutch throw. That one rolling and throw over the top to Sammy Watkins. Big time.
Was it?
Big time.
That made it 35-17.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was clutch. That just stopped the show. I'll never forget how clutch that won the football. No, it didn't. So the truth is, if we look at degree of difficulty, basically, Patrick Mahomes has played the equivalent of a Division III schedule.
Man, stop. You know what?
Well, look at this. The combined record of these 2 teams he's played is 19-13 in the regular season.
Right.
So if you look, let's finish on 2017, then I'm going to go to 2018.
Okay.
2017. So the Jags come in, and they are crazy hot on defense. Nobody can deal with them on defense, right? So they're up 20-10 early in the fourth quarter at Foxborough, and Brady throws for 138 in the fourth quarter against that defense. That's just not easy to do with 12 stitches in your throwing.
Well, if that's the case, how many yards did Tom Brady throw for against the Titans defense if it's so easy?
Well,
again, my homeboy get Jenny. If it's so easy, Tom Brady is the GOAT. He's at home in element. Because Skip Bayless says, when Dak went there and it was cold and Dak not playing that. This
is absurd. Did he have Kelsey? Did he have Tyreek? Did he have Sammy?
Did he have any of those?
Did he have DeMarcus Robinson?
But see, this is what you do. When he loses, he doesn't have any weapons.
Yeah.
When he wins, I have yet to hear him mention what Jacksonville and the weapons that he had.
Okay.
He didn't mention Gronk.
Well, he had Edelman and Amendola.
No, Gronk wasn't there. Gronk.
Yeah.
Was Gronk? Yeah, Gronk was there. That was the year they lost to Philly.
Okay.
So Gronk, that's what they had. I ain't hear you mention Gronk. I ain't hear you mention Amendola.
No, I do. I say, if you give him a couple of weapons, he's the GOAT.
You say that now. You say that now.
No, I don't say that now. So then he goes on to play Philadelphia, and all he does in that Super Bowl is throw for an all-time playoff record, 505, and put up 33 points.
Forgotten.
And Belichick gives up 41 to Nick
Forgotten.
Foles. Okay.
It's all forgotten, Skip. You know, because you know what? LeBron James' playoff run the last year he was in Cleveland, he went 34-9-9. But he didn't win the title, so nobody cares. He dropped 51 in game one. He was, 2 or 3 assists short from having a triple-double, averaging a triple-double. So nobody cared.
Empty calories.
That's my point. Brady got them empty calories. 505 empty calories. Yeah, 505.
Empty calories. Was he throwing into the end zone on a Hail Mary that could have won the game at the end?
And yes. I resent the fact that you said my homeboy had a Prescottian. Because the Prescottian is when you fall behind by a large number and you throw for a bunch of yards and you don't top it off with the dub. My guy fell behind by 24 and run it going away. Your guy can't even see the tail lights. He's so far behind.
So the combined record of Patrick Mahomes' 2 opponents is 19-13. Last year, let's just do the 2018 run by Tom Brady.
Right.
Combined record of the 3 opponents, 37-11. So the degree of difficulty is extremely high because he faced a team that you picked to win at Foxborough, the Chargers. You said the LA Chargers are going to Foxborough and end that dynasty. And Tom Brady that day went 34 of 44 for 343. Is that good?
That was very good.
That sounds pretty good to me. Then he goes to Kansas City because Belichick had blown the Miami Miracle game.
It's all Belichick, huh? All Belichick.
He blew it on the last play of the game. Whose fault was that?
That didn't skip anything. I mean, that's like saying, I'll forget, John Madden, he blew the immaculate reception.
No.
Funny things happen, Skip. You know that.
Okay. So Tom Brady is forced to go to Kansas City, and in overtime, he completes 3 straight 3rd and 10 passes. Let's do context. That's all-time greatness. And then you say, but look at him in the Super Bowl.
Did he do that against the 85 Bears, the 2000 Raiders? Because you said you want context. So how good was the 40? Because you do realize last year, the Kansas City Chiefs defense gave up 421 points. Wow. 421. Is that good? I don't know. If your defense allows 421 points, 16 into 42, woo, Skip.
Can you ever remember a...
That's about 30 a game, ain't it? Get out my mouth, trying to figure this, calculate this in my head. That's about 30 a game.
What quarterback has ever completed 3 straight 3rd and 10s when it really matters?
Oh, my God, Jimmy G. Jimmy G got 2 3rd and 16. Oh, Jimmy G. That's why Coach Belichick wanted to do...
playoff game? I don't
Skip, don't do that. See, you see what you do every time.
This was for the Super Bowl, and he did that.
No, and for the Super Bowl, I saw 0 touchdowns and an interception. And then I saw him follow that up this year in the playoffs, Jenny. 0 touchdowns and an interception. Coach Belichick says, enough!
So, Tom Brady against his nemesis, Wade Phillips, and a team that Pro Football Focus ranked last year #1 in pro football, with the best defensive player in pro football, said the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe, Aaron Donald. A loaded defense that had been up in the top 2 or 3 the whole year. What did Tom do against his nemesis, Wade Phillips, who had his number in those games at Denver?
0 touchdowns and an interception. That's what he did.
With the game on the line, the game tied in the 4th quarter, he completes 4 straight passes. He goes 4 of 4 for 67 yards in what became the game-winning drive yet again to win the Super Bowl.
But hold on. He's going up against Jared Goff. What had Jared Goff done?
Okay, but they don't play each other.
That's my point.
Play Aaron Donald's defense.
That's my point.
Yeah.
But you keep saying Wade Phillips. He had Wade Phillips as his nemesis.
Yeah.
Do you remember that Monday night game, Jen? I know you don't remember because you probably wasn't paying that close attention to it.
Okay.
When the Texans went up there and they all had those Letterman jackets on, Skip. You remember that? And Tom Brady hung 42 on a Wade Phillips defense, but that's his nemesis. And then he followed up the next year and hung 37 in Houston, but that's his nemesis. See, Wade became his nemesis when he got to Denver and had Von Miller and Ware and Malik Jackson and had those 2 guys out there on Rikers Island with Harris Jr. in the slot. Oh, that's when he became his nemesis. But before then, Tom Brady was you remember when Wade was the D coordinator in San Diego then? They were 14-2. And Tom Brady was a wild card and wouldn't beat him in the divisional. But you know, Jenny, but Wade had his number. Wade had his number. Oh, no, he didn't, Skip. Y'all didn't stop
talk to
it.
Jenny. Why don't you talk to me?
Because
she's just listening.
Because you are.
She's an innocent bystander.
Never around
She's
here.
not going to agree. I'm sorry.
You already know because you're trying to paint this case about Tom and all this, what he's overcome. Yes, he's played well, but he's played bad in some games too. Like the Super Bowl last year, Skip. That 30, what was his QBR? Now, you love QBR.
It was low.
Okay.
Both the defenses were both on fire in that game. It was a defensive struggle.
Oh.
You know it and I know
Yes.
it. And then when it came time, fourth quarter, money pushed to the middle. What happened? He just took the game over.
No, Coach Belichick and Stephon Gilmore took the game over.
Oh, really?
You saw whatever Jason McCourty, sure enough, touchdown. He ducks his head and takes off running. He said, I just got to run as hard as I can, and hopefully I get to the point at the same time. Batted the ball away from Brandon Cooks.
So if I had the rest of the show, I could just keep doing Brady playoff runs because there have been 9 of them.
Yeah.
And probably 8 qualify as top 5. How about 2014? Was this not all-time great when, remember, they had to play the Ravens, who were a dangerous opponent. The Ravens have had their number.
Right.
And Brady goes 33 of 50 for 367 and 3 touchdowns in that game. Then the Colts go there for what became the Deflategate game, remember? And Brady threw a party on the Colts, especially in the second half.
Everybody had a party because LeGarrette Blount ran for almost 200 yards.
You got it. Super Bowl, Seahawks. Brady is down 24-14 in the fourth quarter and throws for 124 against the Legion of Boom and 2 touchdowns.
If you don't mind me asking, how many more points did Russell score in that offense? It was 24-14 at the start of the fourth. So how many points did Seattle end up with?
None.
So,
28 to 24.
So now Brady's a D lineman because he playing defense too, huh?
Yeah, but he. Would you believe in the second halves of those 3 playoff games and that run in 2014 to the championship? Listen to Brady's numbers in the second halves. This is all-time.
Go ahead, Tim, give it to me.
47 of 63. That's 75% for 447 yards just in the second half.
Just in the second half?
6 touchdowns and 1 interception. Those numbers right there in the second halves are better than Mahomes in these 2 games.
If you don't mind me asking,
I'm sorry. Game over.
Look at Belichick's defense in the second half. You want me to give you that? 0 points.
Yeah, but it's up
Can
to the
Adrian shoot that
quarterback
0?
to score.
Hold on. So it's up to the quarterback?
Yep.
So why didn't he pull that off against Philly? They didn't give up but 8 points in the fourth quarter, Jenny. That's all they gave up. You mean to tell me the GOAT can't overcome 8 points?
How much more can you do than the all-time playoff
Do
record?
more than what
Help
you
me
did.
out.
Do more than what you did.
Do more than 505?
Like my homeboy.
Oh.
Now, see, if my homeboy had come up short. Now, see, you was just waiting. Because I already knew my homeboy was going to bring this thing back. 24, down 24.
I'll give you this. If he throws a big number at San Francisco...
Well, yeah, that's the only way they're going to win.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. But now you have a chance to bring this home.
Yes.
Because you've played 2 Division III opponents
Don't do
at
that,
home.
don't do that, don't do
Well, you
that.
did.
No, you don't. No, you
okay,
didn't.
now you got a
Hold on.
legit challenge.
So in other words,
Legit
it's like App State. They went to Michigan and hung that L on
They
Michigan,
did.
and then they went to Ohio State and hung another
Yep.
L, and then you want to dismiss them. Because if I'm not mistaken, that very Division III team went to New England and went to Baltimore and put L's on everybody. Did they do that? Now Lamar Jackson's going to be the MVP. We agree on that. And you said runaway. You like to use the term runaway. I believe he should be unanimous. Probably won't win it, but okay, we're going to go with the term runaway.
He'll win it unanimously.
No.
So.
Well, you know, Bill Polian voted that Russell and 2 other guys.
Still?
Yeah.
They did? Have they already voted?
For the All-Pro team.
Oh, okay.
They voted All-Pro Russell Wilson, Pat Kerwin, and also Jim Miller voted for Russell Wilson. Okay,
You were voting for Russell half the year.
I was because I felt because it was hard to overlook that 22-1, and they were playing really well. But Lamar got on the streak, and he just whoop. But Skip, I can't believe that you discounting what Joe Flacco did in 2012.
Well, because Kaepernick was a little better.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
Skip, 11 touchdowns with 0 interceptions, and he beat Luck, Manning, and Brady.
And Kaepernick should have beaten
And
Flacco.
he beat Cap. Well, since you put it like that, he beat Cap too.
Okay.
He hung L's on everybody.
You know, the truth is, if we were really serious about this and put it in context, Brady would have 1, 2, 3, and 4.
No, he would not. No, he would not. Because
Which one?
If my homeboy does this, you know it's going to take a Herculean effort. It's going to take somewhere around 350, probably 4 to 5 touchdowns. He pulls that off. stick a fork in it. It's over.
Mahomes will be the 5th youngest QB to
Fifth.
start a Super Bowl.
You know the line from Taken that you use, the Liam Neeson line?
I love that line.
You know, it's what he hears in the phone. Good luck.
Oh, I love it. That's my favorite line for the movie.
Oh, Mahomes, don't sell him short now.
Let's talk a little bit about the Lakers. Before LeBron faced the Celtics in Boston yesterday, he went to see his son Bronny play in Springfield, Massachusetts, earlier in the day. According to Lakers coach Frank Vogel, the Lakers star was still able to attend shoot-around in the morning after getting blown out by 32 points to the Celtics. LeBron defended his decision to see his son play, saying family comes first. Take a listen.
I break every routine in my life for my family.
Gotcha.
Listen, if the guys is with me, they're going to make sure I get back safe. But my routine was broke today, but I can care less about it if I'm seeing my family, my wife, my daughter, my kids. So, you know, it's a unique opportunity for me to see my son live play that close to where I'm at. So, you know, I can care less about this. This right here is all secondary when it comes to my family, so nothing else matters.
All right, Shannon, are you okay with LeBron going to see Bronny play on a game day?
I'm going to be very unpopular here, but I'm not okay. And everyone is different, Skip, and I get it. For me, I play the sport of football. You got 16 games, and every game matters. LeBron plays a sport 82 games, and one game doesn't matter like 1 in 16
I agree.
matters. But as a leader, Skip, you have to be careful of what you do and what you say, because there are people, they're your teammates that are watching and will say, well, LeBron did it. So will this be okay come playoff time? Kuzma hadn't seen his mom. Some player hadn't seen a family member. Is that okay come playoff time? Is that okay in the finals? Because that's the slippery slope that you open. That's the can of worms. That's the Pandora's box that you open.
You do.
And I get it. Had LeBron not gone, I'm not going to think any less LeBron as being a father, because I know how much his kids, I know how much his family means to him.
Obviously.
And here's a guy that everything that he does is like for his family. But you have to understand, Skip, greatness requires you to be selfish at times. And I have yet to speak to or know any great player that's selfish, that's great, that has not been selfish. And also what comes along.
That is true. They all make huge sacrifices.
You know what comes along with being great? You're going to miss dance recitals.
That is
You're going to
correct.
miss a piano recital.
That is correct.
You're going to miss a soccer game. You're going to miss a basketball or a football game. But that's casualty of what you do.
Yep.
And you have to be willing to accept that.
Yep.
Skip, if for me, and I don't think you would have this problem, Skip, because it's hard for me to imagine that you're going to be able to see in football, you know, you play Sunday night, or Sunday afternoon, you play Monday, you play Thursday. So it's hard to see a scenario where someone can be in attendance and go see something like that. But for me, it's just when game day rolled around, Skip, I didn't want to talk. I ain't talk to anybody. I didn't want to talk to my sister, my brother. Everybody knew not to call.
I got it.
Because that was me. I was getting there, but I just the message that it sends is that you open something that didn't need to be open, because you're going to have somebody that's going to push the envelope and say, well, LeBron went to see his son play. Well, this is my mom. This is my grandma. Well, I hadn't seen my family in 6 months, and they're having a get-together. And so you just don't want to open that. I'm not thinking less of LeBron if he didn't go, because I know any other time, like off days, he's there. And there have been times, I think, when they played in Atlanta, Skip, where he flew, or maybe it's Miami, where he flew and flew back to see him play on a Saturday, because I think they were playing on a Sunday, or they played on a Saturday, and he flew there that Friday. But it just, Skip, for me, it's just the look, the appearance that it gives to your teammates that, and I get it. Now, before I turn it over to you, Skip, this wasn't why they lost now. But not for 1 second, LeBron going to see his son play in Springfield was the reason why they lost. Turnovers, not guarding the three, not playing defense was the reason. Okay. This wasn't the reason, but this is a bad look for me.
It was a bad look, and it was made a little worse because of the loss, even though I agree with you, this was not the why of the loss.
Fair.
But because it happened to happen on the night of by far the worst loss of the year.
Correct.
It just doesn't look right.
Right.
So let's go back and backtrack. What was his dilemma? His son Bronny is playing in a big high-profile national game in Springfield, Massachusetts, which is basically on the other side of the state, but it's an hour and a half drive from Boston with no real traffic in Boston. Okay?
Home of the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, thank you. So originally I saw, because I looked it up, this game was scheduled for 11 Eastern, and I'm thinking, how are you going to make the shoot-around?
Right.
Well, Frank Vogel said after the game he did make the shoot-around, but then I think the game time must have gotten pushed back, and it might have been for LeBron.
It might have been.
It's highly possible. LeBron pulled a big string on that one because they would love to have LeBron in attendance at their game.
Yes.
And they moved it back to 1 o'clock so that he could make at least a little bit of the shoot-around, which usually is late morning at some point, and still make it to Springfield and then have plenty of time to get back for the tip-off of the 7:30 Eastern basketball game at Boston.
Correct.
Okay. So in and of itself, I don't have a huge issue with this because I know how much he loves his son and he wants to watch his son. But to your point, I know the sacrifices you made. I'll just do it on my tiny little level here. The reason I chose not to have kids is because I am obsessed with this job, as you see on a daily basis.
Yes.
And I know I would miss every recital and soccer practice and everything that would happen. I would just have to miss all of it because I'm addicted to this, and I'm not going to sacrifice it for my kids, and that's wrong. So I chose not to have them. Has LeBron, at age 35 in his 17th year, earned the sort of royal right as the king to take some days away where you can go? You can argue.
Right.
But remember, as you know, he is the leader of the team with the best record in the National Basketball Association. Yep.
In the West.
In the West,
Bucks
not
the
to the Bucks.
Right.
But you're right. But let's do this. Of the best team in pro, that's what we all think. Right now, they're slightly the best. We can argue Lakers, Clippers, but right now they've been on a good roll and they look dominant. So you're sending a message to everybody, as you point out, that hey, I'm just going to do this. And then I was pretty okay with it until I watched live his postgame. His postgame was defiant. It was shocking. It was angry. It was offended that somebody even asked the question. How dare you ask that question? Because for him to go to, my routine was broke today, but I can care less about it if I'm seeing my family, my wife, my daughter, my kids. Well, in a vacuum again, that's my favorite word now, in the vacuum, that's noble of you. That's great. That's your heart's in the right place. But no, wait a second. You're the leader of the Los Angeles Lakers. You have a game to play. And listen, a lot of Laker fans obviously take L.A. Boston very seriously.
Right. Sure.
Not right. It's not serious right now, but it has history behind it. And it is shameful, especially if you're going to lose by that kind of margin in that building,
139 to 107.
Whew. So the point is, he's just blatantly, he is drawing a line in the locker room sand saying, my family comes first, whether you like it or not. Nothing, his last line, nothing else matters. Seriously? Wait a second, you have a team that got thrown together around you
that's your family too. That's your family too now.
So how would that make Anthony Davis? He's a new Laker, but he's deep down, he's thinking, God, Bron, he puts family first. I thought it was team first. I thought this is what we're doing right now. We're trying to go win a championship, right?
Skip, everybody's not wired the same. And I'm not here to knock LeBron for him doing it. I think it's a bad look. But I couldn't. I wouldn't.
Because you can't.
I can't.
Because to your point, the Pandora's box that'll be open is they all have some kids or mom or somebody that things are going to come up where, gee, I need to be there for that.
Right.
Because that's really important to my family.
Yeah.
Hey, Bron, is it okay if I miss shoot around today because I got to go see my kid's recital?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm different. I'm wired different, Skip, and I missed grandparents' funerals because it fell on a practice day.
Okay.
But that was, and I missed a lot of things for my kids. And in my Hall of Fame speech, I apologize. I said, I know I missed it, but I'm not here to apologize for that because it got you to what you could be. But I understood that, Skip. I understood that I was going to have to make sacrifices in order for me to be the player that I wanted to be. that I was going to have to miss some things. That training and preparing to get ready for the upcoming season was going to come first. One of the best things that Mike ever told me, he said, Shannon, I will never accept anything in a win I wouldn't in a loss.
Mike Shanahan.
Mike Shanahan.
Yep.
You know, Skip, the thing is sometimes you let things, little things, if you win the game, you let them slide, and then when you lose, you're like, see? But he been doing that.
Yep.
I'm not saying LeBron is doing that. Like I said, I would never say LeBron don't, but it's a bad look because as a leader, Skip, they never checked my room night before the game.
Yeah.
Now, we stayed in the hotel. I could have went home, whatever.
They're not worried about you.
Even Mike told me, say, Shannon, hey, I know you don't sleep good here. If you want to go home, no. Because all it's going to take is for one person to see Shannon Sharpe leave. And guess what?
That's true.
Well, Shannon did it.
Okay.
No, Shannon was going to stay even though Shannon tossed and turned all night. Because I understand as a leader, Skip, people are looking. Well, if he did, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying LeBron is a bad parent because I think he's exemplary.
Well, that's the point. But he's prioritizing parenting over winning as far as his teammates are concerned. Like he's saying my priority now is my family. Wow. Okay. And the problem with LeBron is he's playing so late into his career at such a high level that his kids are now coming of age.
They're of age.
Where they're
not 4 and 5. They're 15.
Like if they had a 7-year-old game, you'd say, that's not that big a deal.
Right.
But all of a
This is
sudden,
high school basketball.
oh, this is high school basketball. And pretty soon Bryce is going to be playing in big games. And the daughter's much younger, but she's going to start having whatever.
Recitals and things of pianos and whatever else she's into.
So if he's going to play 3, 4, 5 more years, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse because he doesn't have 2 kids. He has 3 kids who all mean the world to him. So how many times?
And they're not playing on the same teams. They're playing one is in the 15-year-old league, the other's in the 12-year-old league, and she's at a 5-year-old recital or something.
So how many flights can you take? And he made a point about the gods. If the gods are with me, they're going to make sure I get back safe because he's just pushing it and pushing it and pushing it.
Right.
Well, at some point.
And there's only one of him.
Yeah. Is it going to wear him out a little bit mentally? Now, again, I thought he played just fine last night. And the irony of the basketball game was they came out roaring out of the gate. They jumped up 8-0. And I tweeted about this because LeBron had 4 quick assists. And I said, he's going to break the all-time assist, single game record.
Scotty Skiles, the Magic got 30. 30. He looked like he was on pace for 31. He had 7 after the first quarter, and I'm still thinking, because it was a 3-point game after a quarter. But the point was that everybody in the postgame talked about we didn't come out with the usual focus or energy. Well, again, you can leap to connect the dots. Well, is it because LeBron was a distraction on this day? I don't know. Probably not. But for whatever reason, they came out not quite. They were ready to play at the first. But here's what I think. This is my bottom line to this night. The Celtics had lost 6 of 8 games. Yeah.
They had just lost 3 straight home games embarrassingly to my Spurs and the Pistons and the Suns. In a row, they had lost those 3 games. And the first 2, Spurs and Pistons, they got shellacked at home. So they're desperate, and they're still a really good team with a lot of pride. They got Celtic pride. So the problem was, after the Lakers roar out of the gate and it's 8-0, the Celtics look like they got angry. Cantor came in off the bench, and he starts putting back offensive rebounds. And all of a sudden, when the tide turned, they drowned in the tide. And all of a sudden, the Celtics played their best game of the year. But look, I hate to say this, but the NBA is basically a 3-point shooting league. When all is said and done, on most nights, it's do you make your threes or not? Well, the Celtics made 16 of 34. That's almost 50%. And guess what? Your Lakers made 7 of 26, and that's 25%. So you're going to lose because you got outscored by 27 points from the, was that? Yeah. Okay. You're going to lose.
Had they not lost this way, though, would we care as much? Would it be as much of a hot discussion?
LeBron got a bad break because it happened on the
Probably not, but I still would have had a problem with it.
You would have.
Because I'd have had a problem with it, win, lose, or draw, because of the appearance of what it sends to your teammates.
For your teammates. I think the rarity of him being able to see his son, that's why I don't know. I don't seem to have as much of a problem, but I wasn't a professional athlete. It probably happens so rarely that he can see his son play. And just the opportunity, it's just, we're both in Boston.
That's kind of what you sign up for when you're a professional athlete.
That's what it's
Especially
about.
if you have kids at an early age.
Yeah.
I mean, he had, his second year, probably his second year in the league, third year in the league, he had Bronny. So, and you're still playing at this juncture.
I do hear
all
sides.
Kids gonna grow up. Kids gonna grow up. That's what coaches go through.
Oh, for sure.
Because basically, mom is raising the kid because you at work, you at practice, and you at meetings all night.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you come home and the kid graduating high school. You're like, well, damn. If you got a daughter, next thing you know, you walking her down the aisle because you missed everything.
How many kids of superstar athletes wind up in therapy because dad wasn't there? Okay, so dad is there.
The dad that travels all the time for work. I mean, there's parents who are all over the place, regardless of what career they're in.
You're going to have to make sacrifices. And I guess LeBron says, I've made enough sacrifices. At this point, I don't know if I'm willing to make the sacrifices that I made the first 16 years that I'm going to be moving forward.
So he ended up his soliloquy last night with kind of a flippant line, a throwaway line about the only bad thing about today is I took 2 L's. The James gang took 2 L's. Well, that's really diminishing the L that you took in Boston. Because you're lumping in Bronny's L.
Right.
And in the end, if he had just sort of been apologetic, like, gee, I really pushed it today to go see Bronny.
Right.
It meant a lot to me, but I'm going to try not to let it happen.
Don't worry about it. We're just going to drop a 40-point triple-dub on the Knicks.
Maybe that would have been a different reaction.
How about we do that?
Well, you should do that.
And we're going to do it to the Nets, too.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it to the Sixers, too.
Okay.
And we're going to do something to the you-know-who, the basement Dwellers, on Tuesday.
We're going to have a conversation.
We're going to do something about the basement Dwellers. About to kick them up out of there.
Okay.
Well,
here we go.
Guys, LeBron going to the game really wasn't the only story that came from the game, because while he was there, and LeBron obviously did go to see Bronny play, here's the thing. A fan was ejected for throwing debris at Bronny as he was inbounding the ball. LeBron said he was disappointed in the disrespect the fan showed. Take a listen.
I mean, it's just disrespectful. I mean, and it was a little kid, too. I don't know how old that little kid was. So I don't know. I don't know if he learned that on his own or he learned that at home or whatever the case may be, but it's disrespectful. I wonder how old that kid is. If he was the age around Bronny's age or Bryce's age. He's a cool, calm, he's better than his mom and dad, let's just say that.
Shannon, what was your reaction to now all this?
It's unacceptable. Skip, someone threw something at LeBron's son because of their dislike for LeBron. As simple as that. Skip, the kid doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything. He's inbounding the ball. And so how do you build up hate or dislike for someone at that young age? For what? Only because of who his dad is. And you do that. Really? So now, and look, I think Bronny understands, and I think he has a great teacher in his dad because, like I said before, Skip, LeBron James has been famous longer than he's not been famous.
Yep.
So he understands. But the thing is, LeBron didn't have a father, didn't have someone in his life that was famous that could tell him how to handle these situations. Well, Bronny has the perfect mentor, and he doesn't have to look very far across the dinner table. Bron, this is what you're going to get. Bronny, this is what you're going to get. High school, college, this is what you're going to get. You're my son. You're my offspring. And there are a lot of people, yes, there are a lot of people that love your dad. But there's an equal number of people that dislike your dad. For whatever reason, Skip, maybe because I left Cleveland and went to Miami. Maybe because I left Miami and went back to Cleveland. Maybe I left Cleveland the second time. Maybe because I joined, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. Maybe I didn't take a picture. Maybe I didn't sign an autograph. Whatever the case may be, they don't like your dad. You got to bear that.
Yep.
Skip, there was a situation, my brother's 3 years older than me, so when I was a freshman, he was a senior. A guy, his classmate, he couldn't do anything to my brother. He wanted to take that out on me, Skip. He mad at me because he can't beat my brother. Oh. So what he want to do? He want to pick on Little Sharpe. So we had a basketball game, Skip. I don't want to, I'm watching the game going on, and he just pushing me. And I never forget a girl, Tina Gibson. She's like, Sharpe, swing on him. We're at the basketball game. Well, that's all I heard. I heard swing on him. So I swung on him. You can't get Skip. Why you mad at LeBron because his son playing? Really, Skip, really? We throwing things at kids now. So that's where we are. I can Cleveland, the dog pound, like Sam White, rest his soul. You ain't in Cleveland. This ain't the dog pound where you throw batteries and bones and things. You throw it at a 14, 15-year-old kid. Come on. Skip, I used to say, I was like, we're better than this. But really, I'm starting to think, are we better than this? Are we? Because I'm starting to think we're not. I'm starting to think we are what we repeatedly do. And I see a lot of this stuff. I see a lot of stuff that makes me sad, disappointed, and disillusioned. That some kid would stoop to this level to throw something at this kid.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, everything you just said might be spot on, dead on, but I still can't figure out from the video exactly what was happening because I can't see the kid at all.
Right.
I can't see if he's 3 years old or 8 years old. I think he's a little kid, but I'm not even sure of that.
Right.
Yeah, I can't tell.
And the weirdest part of the video is it's from the footage of the game telecast.
Right.
And for some reason, the camera shifts down to that spot before it happens, as you see right there.
So true.
Why would the camera go down there? Did they know this was going to happen?
Right.
Was this like a staged event?
That's very interesting.
Yeah, why would the camera suddenly go down into the stands and focus and then go back to Bronny as he gets hit with whatever got thrown?
Right.
And we're still not sure what it was that got thrown.
Huh.
So the little kid, is he so little that it's the equivalent of a little kid throwing his food at the dinner table, just throwing it on the floor? Did he aim? That's
a long way for a little kid to throw something that far.
Was it
and on target?
Was it premeditated? Was it intentional? I don't know.
Right.
Maybe so. And if you're right, you're really right about this. But I can't tell what would provoke that. And then LeBron brought up a good point. Was he taught this at home?
Right.
Is that what's happening here?
Right.
I don't know. And yet, I love how protective LeBron is of his oldest. Mm-hmm. And yet, he did. Boy, he hung that moniker on him. He put LeBron James Jr. on him. And as protective as he is, that's hard.
Right.
And you know what? When he talked about how cool and calm Bronny is, he does come off that way. He seems more cool, calm, and collected than LeBron often is. I don't know how Savannah is at a game.
They try to distance themselves. They call him Bronny. They don't call him Junior.
They don't call him Junior.
They call him Bronny. So, Bronny.
Ooh.
You Bronny James?
Yeah.
It's over.
But the kid seems to shrug it all off and just go on and play. And he is playing for a 14-year-old playing varsity basketball.
Yes.
He's playing at a high level.
Yes.
I don't know how tall he's going to end up being. I'm not sure how great he's going to end up being. But his demeanor, his poise, his comfort zone that he's in as LeBron James Jr. is extraordinary.
That's the pressure.
Yeah.
Not playing basketball, 14-year-old playing varsity. The pressure is being that guy's son.
That guy.
Can you? It's like anything. Can you imagine if Tom Brady's sons want to play football, they play that position? Mm-hmm. Can you imagine? It's Skip.
I can't imagine.
That's what he's going through. I mean, look, we've seen like athletes have kids and the kids go on to be better. Like Archie Manning was a good player. He wasn't Peyton.
No.
And Peyton's kids, what they're gonna have to go through.
By the way, Archie was really
he was,
especially in college. Oh, he was so good.
He was doing all that running around.
He was before it was fashionable.
Cool, right.
Yep.
Even before Roger the Dodger.
That is correct. Yep.
but this, I just can't believe, because Skip, even if it's a kid, unless it's a ball, don't throw that. Don't throw that. Don't throw that.
And then the police said we couldn't find out who. Well, we can see who it was on the video. So how could you not go put a stop to it or eject somebody?
Ask them to leave.
Yeah, something. And then they weren't even sure what got thrown.
Right.
I don't know. Is it a piece of gum? Is it a piece of ice?
So when it just evaporated, didn't it land on the floor? It landed somewhere.
I don't know. Piece of ice.
Something.
Maybe.
But if it was a kid, wouldn't the parents stand up and be like, "Oh my gosh, I am
we're so sorry."
No. So that's what's also weird. But the video zooming in is really throwing me off.
And I don't know, is that a parent next to him? Because if it is, then unless he's just incredibly embarrassed, he should have scolded the kid or
see that.
Something.
But there's new ways, and obviously you can't do that because I don't know. If you've been in church, you'd have been anything. My grandmother hit me in my chest so quick.
You got it.
It's so quick.
Got it.
Maybe they didn't play. Mary Porter didn't play that.
Nope.
So, man, I just can't believe people look, I understand that kids, but you got to, that's unacceptable.
Yeah,
that's
but
just,
of all classy kids, this kid has been so classy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, every once in a while he'll put something out on IG. I think LeBron just let him got a Twitter and got an IG page like a couple of months ago, maybe even a year ago. But as far as like talking, Skip, he doesn't do a whole lot of talking. No. I think I heard him talk one time when he won the MVP at his dad at St. Vincent St. Mary's when they won that one. But for the most part, seems like a normal 14-year-old. I mean, I guess as normal as you can be when your dad is GOAT James.
You got it.
This tournament was sold out for weeks. I mean, just you think of the hype we've seen from him that he gets.
They're playing
gonna have a target on
a high school basketball team is playing in NBA arenas. That's what this kid. That's what comes along with this, and that's what they had to do with his dad. They ended up having to play at the University of Akron. Yeah. They could no longer play in their regular high school gymnasium. It's still a high school now.
Yeah. Well,
this is not a state championship, Skip. Well, this is a regular basketball game.
But I must admit, if it's on, I'll watch that.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
We're still going to tune in and watch.
But to your point, bottom line, what a bad precedent this is. For, and I'm happy with LeBron.
Yeah.
His tweet was, hating has no age limit. Yeah. So
you're right.
Good.
Savannah, I can imagine what Mama James, he's like, y'all threw that at my baby?
Yeah, oh.
I hope we get an apology from whoever it was because it's just unacceptable and it should be addressed. No mercy. Disturbing video of former NBA guard Delonte West getting beat up in the middle of the street came out yesterday, and afterwards Delonte was yelling about the man approaching him with a gun but wouldn't give any more details. So Shannon, your reaction to the video?
It's just sad. Skip, he's dealt with some mental health issues for an extended period of time. I think in Dallas he was arrested in 2009, 2010. On a Can-Am Spider, a three-wheel motorcycle, Skip. He had a 9-inch waistband. He had a .357 strapped to his leg, and had a shotgun and a guitar case riding down the street.
Across his back.
Across his back.
El Mariachi, that one.
And you see, Skip, look, if I were to slip and fall, it'll hurt. But when you're a professional athlete or you're a professional, and you're really, really high up, and you fall on hard times, whatever the case may be, some people have a really, really difficult time dealing with that. And and I don't know if it's just mental health issues. I don't know if there's drug issues also involved. It was said that he was dealing with bipolar, Skip, went to a facility, they gave him the wrong medication. He checks himself out in the gown, and he's walking, and they have to bring him back. But it's just sad. And to hear now all of a sudden, his former coach and teammates, they talking about, it took this video. Skip, look, if that's your boy, this man been dealing with this for a long time. You didn't need that video. I can tell you, my homeboy, guys that I'm cool with, I know what's going on.
Yep.
I don't need a video. So it took that video, someone stomping the man and nobody wanted to help. To see him like this. And it's just, it's hard to watch, Skip. It's hard to watch anybody go through something like this. But then you deal with, like I said, a professional athlete that we think that being a professional athlete, Skip, exempt you from all things. Man, you make a ton of money. That'll never happen to me. Little do you know, you'd have the same issues that someone that punches a clock, go 9 to 5, or any other person. You have issues. And if they don't get dealt with, this is what can happen. But it's just sad. I hope now he can get some help. I hope the NBA Players Association, and I know that's not the NBA Players because, Skip, the Players Association, regardless of their job is really to focus on the player that's currently playing. But I wish somebody just reach out and help him. I really do.
When I first saw this video last night, I found it horrifying, impossible to sort of process. That's that guy?
Right.
He was the 24th overall pick in the draft. That guy is sitting on that curb in handcuffs. Now I see the rest of the video. He's getting stomped on out in the middle of the street.
Skip, I'm intervening. I don't care what the guy might have done. I'm not going to let someone do that.
Stomp him?
I'm not going to let you do that. Now you can address when the police. Hey, we'll call the police, and you can explain your side of it. But I'm just not going to sit. I can't. I just can't sit around and let somebody do that to somebody in the middle of the street. And people just driving by, ain't nobody blowing the horn, stop, yell out the window, stop, man. You ain't got.
They're just videotaping.
Yes.
So this man made approximately $16 million in his professional career. He started 258 NBA games. And once upon a time, back in his St. Joseph's days, he and Jameer Nelson were the driving forces of a team that won every regular season game and finally lost in the Elite Eight to Oklahoma State. But the point was, man, they were toast to the town in Philadelphia, right?
Yep.
And so you say, how could he fall this far fairly quickly? Well, on these shows that I've done all these years, I've dealt with hundreds and hundreds of professional athletes, many of them ex-athletes. And they're usually more human than the rest of us are because in many ways they're more vulnerable because they have been coddled from early on to the point that they don't know the rules the way the rest of us have to know the rules.
Or if they do, Skip, is their ability has shielded them. They don't have to address it because there's something going on, but I can catch, I can throw, I can dunk a basketball, I can shoot a three. So it suppresses a lot of these, and it comes back up when you can no longer throw and catch, or you can't dunk or shoot a three. So now you got to deal with that issue.
Okay, so what I learned through my upbringing, especially with my father, is my father just didn't want help. And no matter how hard we tried to help him, he just didn't want help.
Right.
He just wanted to die. Well, I'm afraid Delonte has fallen into that category because I'm sure a lot of his ex-teammates have tried. Phil Martelli, his coach at St. Joe's, who posted a lot today about we got to help. How?
Right.
Well, and to your point, is it too late now? Should you have been trying to help? I'm sure they all did try in little or big ways to help him. And there are times you've known people in your life who were just unreachable.
And Skip, the thing is, like, when I come from a small town, and we see people that really never left that small town and do drugs, and we say, oh, that's just him. But when we see an athlete or a professional that ascends to the highs, and then all of a sudden he comes crashing down in fashion like this, it's like, how could that happen? Because he had issues that didn't get resolved. And maybe there's something else. I mean, I'm looking at him talking, I see his teeth missing, and everybody knows what that's a telltale sign of, Skip. And it's just, and so now you're dealing with one issue, you add something to the equation to exacerbate that issue. Like I said, I hope Jameer, who they would, like you said, they played on that team. They were undefeated, lost in the conference. They still got a number one seed, lost in the Elite Eight. Phil Martelli, I hope someone that can get to him, Skip, clean him up, get him some help that he needs, get him on his feet, and hopefully, the thing is sometimes, Skip, you get these guys, people have medicine and they don't take the medicine. Well, that defeats the purpose. If you have medicine to help control this, you got to take it. You can't miss.
So it became fairly common knowledge that Jameer and LeBron had an incident that led LeBron to just about go over the edge against the Boston Celtics. There were reports he needed to be sedated to be able to play in the last 3 games against the Celtics in the last series before he left Cleveland for Miami. And yet, I will bet you, as much bitterness as LeBron felt over that incident, I will bet you when he saw this video last night that he felt for this guy.
Yeah.
I will bet you he did.
Yes, no matter what, look, this notion that everybody you play with, you get along with is a lie, trust me. But even though you might not get along with that person, you don't want anything bad to happen to that person. And I'm sure LeBron would never want this. Would I be surprised if LeBron offered to get him some help? But I think there's enough money being made in the NBA. There's enough people that play with and against Delonte West that they can step in and get him some help. And hopefully he's open to receiving that help and stay on the medication, because I think that's the number one thing that when I hear people talk about mental health issues and they have to take prescribed medicine, is that they take that prescribed medicine at the time in which it's deemed necessary. And don't miss. It's just like anything else. The doctor, I feel so much better. The doctor said take it for 30 days, not 3 days.
Well, that's the problem. People start to feel well, and then they start taking them. I mean, it's a cycle, and it's a really, really scary, horrible disease. He's 36 years old, guys.
It
That's what I keep thinking about.
I'm looking at him sitting there, Skip. He looked like he's 56.
He did.
That's the scary part.
Yep.
But all we can say really is that we hope he gets the help that he needs.
No mercy.
All right, here's the latest. After Revis took shots at Richard Sherman, former All-Pro cornerback Antonio Cromartie came on Undisputed yesterday to defend the Niners' defensive back. Cromartie said Sherman was just playing the system he was in and said it was different than the system he played in with Revis and the Jets. This morning, though, Revis responded on Twitter saying, "Remember Rex and Dennis Thurman would come to me and say, 'Hey, Reeve, we don't know if Cromartie is going to hold up this week, so we have to shade the cover to him and leave you on an island. Guess you have to play what the coach calls.'" Former All-Pro cornerback Cromartie is back with us. Did I get that all right? I need your reaction to all of this.
You know what? Honestly, my initial reaction was like, really? You really want to do this with me? Out of all people. Like, I was in the meeting room with you every single day. I understand everything I was saying. And I was thinking to myself, I say, well, come to think about it, I was never come in to be the number one corner for the New York Jets.
Right.
It was already had a number one corner.
Right.
My job was to come in to be the 1B or whatever you want to call it and go from there. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at it, I'm like, man, you can tell your truth, but I know my truth also too. And my job was to go out and cover the people that they asked me to cover and go from there. I don't know whatever Rex, Dennis Thurman had going on with Reeves, telling them, I don't care. Only thing I had to do was go out and go do my job. As long as I did my job well, that was all I asked. I think the 3 years that me and Revis played together, my quarterback rating or completion towards me was 47%. So obviously I was doing a good job. Obviously I was doing something right.
Right.
So obviously, you know, when you look at the whole entire situation, and I said it on Twitter, you can be in your feelings all you want to. I'm not in it for the feeling. I just spoke the truth. It's about the scheme that we played in. Everyone plays in a different scheme. Never once did I say that he wasn't the best. I said he was the best. 2009 was, no one can ever match that. I said he was the best. But at the end of the day, like, you gonna call me out for what, speaking the truth about another man, what scheme he plays in?
Right.
That's uncalled for. And I told him that. You know, I'm just like, I can't speak on, the only thing I can speak on is what I see. The man's played in this system for the last 9 years. He's played great in this system. So why am I knocking him for what he's playing in?
Right.
Y'all have y'all beef. Me and Sherm squashed our beef. Now I'm really talking football. That's all I'm talking. I'm not looking at it, Sherm's calling himself the best. Every DB should feel that way. If the Dion didn't walk around like he was the best, what would you say about him?
Right.
If Champ Bailey walked around and act like he wasn't the best, what would we say about him? I can go back to Lester Hayes, Mike Haynes. I can go to Mel Blount. I can go so on and so on. We are in a generation now where everybody wants to be, I want to be this, I want to be that. Prove it. Day in and day out. Sherman's been consistent for the last 9 years. I can't take that away from him. I've argued with Sherm. Dude, you're not the best. You're not even better than me. You know what I'm saying? But we've had that sit down and had that conversation. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not finna knock this man anymore for what the scheme that he's playing. He's competing at a very high level in this scheme. So why should I keep knocking him for what he's saying? That's what he believes. Every corner should believe. Patrick Peterson believed that when he was coming in, that he's the best. He said this, he said he was the best. He was better than Reeve too. So if someone's saying that, you gonna have a beef with everybody that say they're the best?
He does.
I'm not in that boat. I consider myself one of the best, but I'm not walking around
mad if somebody say you're not.
Mad if somebody say I'm not.
How close were you and Darrell back in the day?
We were very close. We're still close. I mean, he texted me back saying, "Hey man, it's all good. We family."
And what did he tell Skip? What he said about me?
How he said, "Tell Shannon to line up."
To what?
He talking about tell Shannon that you and I would both strap him up.
But it's just, we brothers. I don't care what nobody says. We brothers. We can have an argument in the next 5 minutes.
Like socializing brothers? Like would you hang out? Would you go to dinner?
We do all that.
But it surprised me. He said you don't have each other's number right now.
We don't. I mean, I've changed my number. He's changed his.
Okay, all right.
So, my number haven't really changed in like the last 5. I don't know if he's changed his or whatever, but the number I have doesn't work. So I can't sit here and be like, I'm gonna text you, I'm gonna call you. So I just hit him on, hey, look. I gave him a heads up. Hey, this subject gonna be on here, so we're gonna talk about it. You know, I'm just like,
I get drug into it.
Sorry, Shannon.
But my whole thing is this, like, don't if you got a problem with something what I said, which I felt like I didn't say nothing wrong. I still called you the best yesterday. No matter how you look at it, I still called you the best. But I'm not finna knock another man for being the best in what he does in his scheme that he plays in.
Well, guess what, Skip? Richard Sherman hit me. I don't think he's better. We're just different. But I appreciate you always keeping it 100.
Okay. To you?
Yes.
Oh.
Skip, I got no dog in the fight. I just call it like I see it. And I said yesterday, I believe Revis' best was a little better than Sherm. Okay. But they play in two different systems.
Yep.
You can't knock me because, Skip, they didn't ask me to dominate the line of scrimmage and block like George Kittle. That wasn't what they asked me to do. But if you go back and look at the film, on third down, when we got that long TD, we got that run against Green Bay, who did they run behind? When I had to be, I did what I needed to be. It's okay, Skip. It's okay. Listen. This notion that shutdown. See, when I hear like, okay, he on the island. When you on the island, they in zero coverage. Did y'all line up in zero coverage every snap?
No.
Okay, then that means there's a safety in the hole. Now, when Time took a guy, Time take the shallow cross, he took the out, he took the deep over, he took the post, he took the go. It's okay.
But I believe Revis did that also.
What's that?
Just take him solo. Wherever he goes, you're alone. You got it.
We both did that. We did it in the same scheme. We're asked, hey, Revis, you're gonna be by yourself, Crow, you're gonna be by yourself. Hey, we have a middle field safety, but I don't know if he's gonna be there. At the end of the day, we both sat there and did that. Like he said, Dennis Thurman and Rex May said that. I don't really care. My main focus is to go out there and make sure I understood what Randy Moss did very well. I understand what Randy Marshall did well, because those were the guys that I was going to follow around. Whoever it was going to be who I was going to be following around, I studied that person. I studied him, the second guy, and also the first guy. I mean, there was games that Revis didn't play against that I had to cover the number one guy. So what was my job? I had to go and cover that guy.
So what was he doing that last year in New York?
What was he doing? What?
Yeah, what was he doing there? Was he covering? Was he locking down or was he stealing? When everybody started bringing their guests to Revis Island.
Okay.
He was a picnic.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
But
2016,
Skip, that's the point. But Sherman, see, that's what's upsetting him about Sherman.
Okay.
Sherman's still playing at a very high level. And then he's not. He didn't at the end, Skip. He didn't play well at the end.
Okay, I want to walk us quickly back through how this all came to be.
You started.
This started in 2012. I did not start it because Richard Sherman was LeVar Ball before LeVar Ball. He did. He talked his way into America's living rooms when he was a good player, but he wasn't yet a great player, Richard. And he took on everybody via Twitter or any interview he could do.
He took on me too.
And it was a smart strategy because he made himself a thing for everybody. We got to deal with that guy in Seattle. Who's that guy in Seattle?
But Seattle
was coming after everybody.
But Seattle wasn't what it is.
They were not.
So he had to get.
He talked his way into the public consciousness, and he took on everybody, starting with Tom Brady. You mad, bro? Or was that how?
You mad, bro? Yeah, that's it.
Remember after the game, they upset the Patriots at Seattle. Remember?
Yep.
Okay, so then it escalates because he starts taking on Darrell, and Richard started it. And he went so far as to suggest on Twitter that Darrell Revis, in his prime, in his heyday, at the peak of his prowess, that he was overrated and irrelevant when he stepped on the football field, and that was just...
Well, you got to think about this. Revis only played 2 games.
In which
2.5 games, 2012. That was
okay. Because that was Richard's point. You're out of mind.
That was Sherman's first strike.
Outside, out of mind.
I think he tore his ACL in the Miami game.
But then he also went back at him and said, "When you come back on the field, you will be irrelevant because I have rendered you irrelevant."
Right.
Well, that's just not right. Listen, I know Revis well enough. I spent enough time around him, and you know him really well.
Yes.
He is as proud a man as has ever stepped on a football field.
100%.
Maybe to a fault. He is proud because he is Darrell Revis, and I will take you by myself. I will live on my island,
Skip,
okay?
So did they close Revis Island when he went to Tampa?
No, I thought he was really good. He made the Pro Bowl in Tampa.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Well, I mean, he continued to play at the highest level.
I'm just saying.
He's making first-team All-Pro through Tampa, back to New England. The 2014 year in New England, he made first-team All-Pro.
He was superb.
Okay, all right.
He was superb in New England. He was superb with the Jets, especially the first go-round.
Okay, so yesterday, we're reacting to Darrell, who just came out of left field on Sunday night because he wants to get even with that guy. You started, I'm going to finish it. You're a zone corner, and I want the world to know you're a zone corner. right? You didn't do what I did every game.
Right.
And then we come to you, one of his closest friends, if not for a long time, his closest friend.
Right.
And you, in his eyes, you betrayed him on this show yesterday because you took Richard Sherman's side.
I didn't take anybody's side.
Okay, well, you did take Richard's side, and you admitted that you sat with Richard back in, when was it, 2014?
After the 2014 year.
2014.
Yeah.
That you sat with Richard,
We thought-
and,
yeah.
it came across like Richard charmed you. You know, like he
No, no, he
Richard
just
really talked.
Hey, I mean, he just
said
my thing is that he just gave me he just told me, look, Crow, I'm not asked to follow. I'm not asked to do that. We have Brandon Brown and we have this person here. I'm not asked to do that. I don't have to do that. So why should I not consider myself the best because I'm playing in the zone coverage?
Right.
And I said, you know what? I really
Okay,
don't
here's
care.
the point. Could Richard have done what the Jets asked Darrell to do? I just don't think he could have. But could Revis do what Richard has done for years in Seattle and now in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, but I'm like this. What makes Revis a great corner in top 5, top 3, maybe ever
top
play,
2
to ever play? You got a lot of you got Lester Hayes, you got Mike Haynes, you got
Mel
Willie
Blount
Brown.
something.
They changed the rule because of Mel.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
He
all right,
changed the whole game.
Go on, but
what he did
this
to
is what I'm
Golden
saying.
Richards in the Super Bowl.
This is what I'm saying. Like Revis can play. He can play the slot. He can play. He can play anything. He can cover any size receiver you want him to cover. My problem was, don't put me on no small receiver. Hey, I might get my hands on him, but hey, if he make this quick cut, it's gonna be lost.
Because what did you play?
I play a little bit in the slot too, but it was part of me following
What do you
receivers.
say? You're 6'1"?
6'2.5".
6'2.5". Okay. What weight?
I played at 215.
Whew. Wow. That's a big cornerback.
Right.
Man.
But
So I get
my
it.
thing is,
he was technically sound.
he was technique sound, and that's something
that first move.
Listen,
you can just throw that first move out the window. Cause you wasn't biting. Cause you give all that Chad Ochocinco, give him all that head stuff. He's sitting right there. Okay, now when you make your move, I'll be ready to go now. Cause you spend all this time dancing, and you ain't moved nowhere.
And that's the thing. That's what I admired when I got to New York. That's the one thing I admired about him. And I tried to model my game. I have to be patient. Look, hey, I'm long. I'm finna jump everything. Yeah. You know, but that's something that you admire about him going into a game, like the way he studied, the way he done things, the way that he covered, the way that what was asked him the week in and week out, he's done. You know what I'm saying? But like for me to sit here and knock another man for doing what he's doing and what's asked of him, I can't do that no more. I'm not finna sit there and do that. Mm-hmm. Yes, I played in this league. I've done the same thing that Revis has done. I played in zone coverage, just the same thing as Sherm. But my thing is, I'm not finna sit here and keep going backwards and forth with two guys about who's the best and this. Let the end. If both guys are in the Hall of Fame, what does it matter?
Nothing.
What does it matter if both of them in the next, Revis will be in the next 2 years, he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He will.
If Sherm, when he's retired in the next 5 years, if he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, then what you gonna argue? Oh, I got in the Hall of Fame first? Of course you did. Well, you got in you was the first retired first.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if both guys are going into the Hall of Fame or being mentioned as being Hall of Famers, why y'all sitting here arguing? We in this thing in the same boat.
And
right?
bottom line, you've said from the start, Darrell is just a little better than Richard.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. All right.
I've said that, and I haven't deterred from that at all. I haven't put myself in saying Revis is always, to me, is always going to be the best corner.
Okay.
That's just simple fact. That's just, I've been around and I saw it. I've been around Patrick Peterson, and Patrick Peterson can't touch Darrell Revis.
Revis could still receive,
you know what
better
I'm saying?
than anybody. He was so strong with his hands.
I just saw it with my own eyes, day in and day out. I saw the work that he put in on the practice field. I saw the work that he put in the film room and going onto the field, the way he covered guys, and the way he come to the sideline like, hey, Crow, I got this and this on this side. Watch for this on the backside. The dude memorized the whole entire series, coming to the sideline and give the whole entire play on the sideline. Like, you don't get that. You don't get that from a lot of DBs.
No, you don't. My 2 cents, bottom line, you were really good at what you did, and I always considered you and Darrell a duo. I did. As great as he was, you were a great duo, and I hope you can mend the fence with him.
All the fence is men. It's a brotherhood.
Crow ain't doing nothing but Patty Reed. He ain't doing nothing but Reed's playing off cluing and jumping everything.
I'm jumping everything. You know it, too. They call me Jumping Johnny.
Yeah.
They call me Jumping.
You got that from T-Buck. T-Buck, so they got more slants in the playbook than they got go routes.
Hey, and he could return, too, because he could fly.
The Florida State boys, they get the hands on the ball. They going back the other way with it.
You know where it's going.
So the back and forth on Twitter, we're going to leave it.
It's done.
Revis, I'm old. You strap me up. Y'all got me. I can't do nothing now.
It's a brotherhood, and we understand. We're going to get in arguments. We're going to disagree on everything.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we're going to be there for each other.
Yeah.
no matter how we look at it.
Good.
I'm glad we had you on to address it and
Yep.
talk about it with us. We appreciate you being
Hey,
here.
Revis, you welcome to
Antonio.
come on here now.
Yep. You are
Keep it
very
going. Keep the conversation going. Thank you, guys.
No mercy.
So Anthony Davis returned last night after missing 5 games, but it wasn't enough to help LeBron and the Lakers in Boston. The two LA Stars combined for only 24 points as the Lakers ended up getting routed 139-107 by the Celtics. Former Lakers player and head coach Byron Scott joining us
Yep.
this morning. So good to have you.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
Now, did
Appreciate
that
you
hurt
being
your
here.
heart last night just a little bit? After all the...
Any loss to the Celtics hurts my heart. Any loss to the Celtics. I don't care if it's 30, 40, 1, 2. Any loss to the Boston Celtics hurts my heart.
I got
That's
it.
a little bit more.
Just a little bit.
What did the blowout loss tell you?
To be honest with you, it didn't tell me anything. It's 41 games into the season. You're going to have games like this, during the course of the season. So that loss didn't tell me much. It told me one thing, that Boston is a very good basketball team.
Right.
But when you bring back Anthony Davis, the Lakers have been playing pretty well without Anthony Davis in
Right.
this stretch.
Yeah.
So you bring him back, you got to, integrate him back into the system. And I think that kind of threw their timing off a little bit. But as far as the scheme of things, didn't tell me anything. The Lakers are still the team to beat.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell he's rusty. He's been off. Today would have been exactly 2 weeks since he last played a ball game.
Plus, he got 2 quick fouls and,
Right.
and Vogel yanked him,
Right,
and then
so-
they lost all
So
of
he
it.
wasn't able to get a rhythm, and they probably thought coming out the win because they played well without Anthony Davis,
Right,
as
right.
Scott mentioned. So now we just did a number on Houston. We feeling good. We get AD back. Oh, we about to do this thing. They jump out to an 8-0 lead. Probably thought Boston, who had been struggling over the last 2 weeks, Skip, they were just going to run it high. They're like, nope, timeout. They regroup, and they don't look back from there. So, look, I still believe they need somebody, a playmaker, because when LeBron goes to the bench, they struggle. That's always been the case, no matter where he's been. They struggle when he goes to the bench, and he can't play 42 as much as he's 17, he's been amazing. Skip, he can't play 48 minutes,
Right.
even in the playoffs. Now, he might bump it up to 37, 38, maybe even 39, but he can't play all 48. So they got to do a better job of when he goes to the bench, still being able to run the offense because he's really the only guy that can create for everybody else. Everybody else need to be created for. So they need someone else that can do that.
Okay, so speculation running wild about Derrick Rose. Is he the answer to your question?
I mean, I like him. He's playing unbelievable. I did not see this. I mean, I saw a little bit last year in Minnesota, but I didn't think he was going to play this good this year. But he's healthy. And I guess for the first time in a very long time, he's healthy. I like to see D Rose, but what are you going to give up? You really only got one.
Exactly.
You got one piece. That's Kuzma. Are you going to trade Kuzma for D Rose?
I don't know. Are you? Would LeBron vouch for that?
No. I'll tell you what, there's another name out there, and Shannon, you're right. D Rose is playing unbelievable basketball, there's no doubt about it. They do need another playmaker, there's no doubt about that. Darren Collison is a name that's been out there, retired. I think you can get him back. It's not going to cost you much,
Nope.
Right.
if anything.
They're going to cost you anything.
You know what I'm saying? Especially draft picks or
We ain't got none.
players or anything. Yeah, that's true, too. Can't trade anything for him in the first place. But you got a guy that's sitting there who's a proven veteran, who's played in this league, great two-way player because he can get you in the office, can make shots, can get to the basket, and can defend. So I think that would be a perfect fit for the Lakers right now.
I remain a Kyle Kuzma fan. I see him on some nights. You want to talk about fearless, just like cold-blooded fearless? He's got that gene in him, and yet he doesn't seem to fit in the flow of the LeBron AD Lakers. Like he's the third wheel that they're not quite comfortable with because he is going to jack up shots and he's going to miss some shots. But when he gets on a roll, no one on his team can make shots on a roll like he can make them. So to me, there's some non-fit going on here where they need to move him just to clarify the chemistry of the team, even though I still say he should be the closer for this team. What's your gut on?
You know what, I like Kyle Kuzma as well, and I think he is the third best player on this basketball team, and I think he is the guy that you got to look at when you look at AD and you look at LeBron. He's the next person. There's no doubt about that. But being the third guy on a team like this, sometimes you're going to have those peaks and valleys.
Right.
Because you're not going to get 20 shots every night, between 15 and 20. Sometimes you're going to get 8 shots. Sometimes you're going to get 15 shots. So he's never going to get into a great rhythm, you know what I'm saying, Skip, on a day-to-day basis because the ball's not going to be in his hands all the time.
Right.
Nope.
You know, so he has to figure that out as well. So you got two superstars that I think, given time with Kyle, they will figure this thing out. And I think at the end of the season, all three of those guys will be rolling.
What's happened to Kyle is that he's a starter. See, he's not like Lou Williams. Lou Williams, like, I'm embraced this coming off the bench,
right.
knowing that he's going to get the shots because Lou Williams, as you mentioned, he's their closer. He has the ball in his hand, not Kawhi, not Paul George. Lou Williams.
Totally agree.
So Kyle Kuzma, that's never going to be Kyle Kuzma because coming down the stretch, the ball's going to be in 23's hands.
Absolutely.
It's never going to be in Kuzma's hand.
Absolutely.
So, and then it's going to be in AD's hand. So it's hard to skip. It's hard to get a rhythm when you, especially when you, I'm not totally sure he embraces the role because he sees in his mind last year, I was the second leading scorer on the team behind LeBron.
Right.
I should be starting. But he got hurt. You know, the injury, the ankle injury set him back. So he's coming off the bench. In order for the Lakers to get maximum value, Kuzma's going to have to embrace his role. And there are going to be some nights, Kuz, they don't need 20. They need you to play very good defense. So if you're not giving them 20 and you playing crappy defense, bro, you have no use. They got to do a better job of defending, too. They put the team in the bonus at 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, I mean, the foul situation last night was crazy. You know, you got to do a better job of moving your feet without fouling. There's no doubt about that. Now, one of the things that happened early in the season with the Lakers is that they were the best defensive team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They were by far the best defensive team, along with that other team in L.A. We won't mention them, but that other team, you know, they were pretty good, too.
Get to them.
Yeah, we'll get to them, but that other team, they're pretty good, too.
Right.
But they were hanging their hat on the defense. AD talked about this in preseason.
Right.
We got to be accountable on the defensive end. I think they're having a little bit of a slippage on that end of the floor right now, and they got to get back to having that type of identity.
Boy, they can defend the rim, man.
Right, but that's the thing, though, Skip. Where they're messing up is the rotation on the perimeter. So when somebody's supposed to show, all of a sudden, they're letting guys walk into threes.
Right.
Dude, you a big walk. Look. I understand. Tice, is that how you say his name? Daniel Tice. Skip, you can't just let him walk into a three. They're letting Jason Tatum walk into threes. They're letting Kemba Walker just casually dribble the ball up the court. Bruh, you got to get up on him big. You got to push up.
Man down.
You just remember the 1-3 that Tice made last night.
Yeah, but they let it walk into it. Don't let it walk into it.
Okay.
If you're going to just let me see, I can
The
hit
point
one.
of last night is
still make a three.
If they're going to make 16 or 34 threes, you're probably going to lose at Boston, and you might lose by a lot at Boston.
Yeah, and they did.
And turnovers.
And they did.
The turnovers been creeping up. Frank Vogel's telling them we got to do a better job because they were winning some games early, Skip, and they was in the 14, 15, 16 turnovers.
Right.
I think they won one game, they had 20 turnovers. Frank said they got to be careful of that. Now the turnovers creeping back up there again, and they're losing these games. You can't keep. I looked at one time, and the Celtics had 16 more shot attempts. That's because you turned the ball over and you didn't get an attempt up.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here. Speaking of that other team, the team that we say stays in the basement at Staples, they're about to play their third game next Tuesday night at Staples Center, obviously. This is going to be a Lakers home game, if I recall, right?
All of them Lakers home
I was
games.
about to say last one was Laker home game, too, but it don't matter.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
So the basement team has won the first two games.
Yes, they have.
Better team right now in your heart of hearts is the...
Los Angeles Lakers.
Because
they're the Los Angeles Lakers. They're the better team. I just think when you got two mega superstars like they do, and I'm not taking anything from the Clippers because Paul George is a hell of a basketball player. Kawhi Leonard is probably the best two-way player in basketball right now. But when you look at these two guys and the dynamic that they bring to the table, LeBron James can guard Kawhi. I'm not saying he can stop him. He can guard Paul George. I'm not saying he can stop him. And vice versa. Those two guys can guard LeBron. But they have nobody with the Clippers that can guard AD. And I think that's the difference maker. Now, we know Lou Williams is a factor. And again, that's when Kuzma and those guys on the bench got to show up as well. But when it's all said and done, Skip, in my opinion, I think the purple and gold will still be the better team.
Montrez can try to guard AD.
Try, but try ain't good enough.
He's not
tall enough. Yeah, try is not good enough because the other thing with AD is he can take you in the post. He can face up. He can take you off the dribble. And with Montel guarding him, okay, he's giving up 3 or 4 inches. All he's doing is just turn around, face up, and shoot over it. Now, if he goes for pump fakes, then he's getting to the basket, too. You know, so they just don't have an answer for AD. And if AD is on and he's playing the way we know he can play, they can't stop him.
But that's what I'm saying. In that series, he will have to be the best player.
Yes.
Because he's the guy that they don't have an answer for.
Yes.
Because the other guys, look, Paul George and Kawhi, the wing, that's why they got him. And you got that Bulldog Pat Bev. So they got 3 wing defenders that's as good as anybody in the league, but they don't have a post defender.
In the first 2 fourth quarters of these games, AD was basically stopping himself, right?
Huh.
Learning experience.
Okay.
Early.
But anyway, we got some do on this already.
We do?
Has it been decided already?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, the third time should be the charm.
No.
They're going to win one of these games.
Hold on. If you say the Clippers are better, it should be a breeze to beat a team.
Well, they're going to beat them all 4 times?
Why not?
3 for 3 is
If
that's hard to do.
if the 49ers play the Packers, how many times do you think the Packers win?
This year?
0.
Maybe not too many.
They got the
0.
greatest quarterback.
0.
They should
Maybe
win
not too many.
2.
Well, you got the best player in the NBA. They know what you say Kawhi is?
2-way.
No, you say he's the best ever. He's
I
the
didn't
best right
say
now.
that.
No, he's the best right now.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, he's not? Go James is.
Lou Williams can close.
Yeah.
He might be the best in the league.
He might be.
He might be the best closer in the league.
Yep.
When they say walking buckets.
Yep.
He told me I can get buckets in my sleep, Coach. And I agree.
No mercy.
Things are on the upswing for the Pelicans. They have won 10 of their last 14 games, including a win against the red-hot Grizzlies last night. And now Zion Williamson is set to make his NBA debut tomorrow night for New Orleans after sitting out since the preseason with that knee injury. Iron, what impact will Zion have on the Pelicans and really on this league?
We haven't seen this in a long time. You know, this anticipation of a player of this magnitude coming to the NBA since, let's see, a guy named LeBron James when he was coming out of high school.
Yep.
That's how big this is for Zion Williamson when he plays tomorrow night. So I am excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. I think this kid has everything it takes to be a superstar in this league. Size, speed, quickness, agility.
Might have too much size.
He might have. We'll talk about that size, and his athleticism is off the chart.
Yep.
So he is one of those guys that we've been waiting for a long time, and I'm excited as I don't know what to see him play tomorrow.
I'm excited also. I want to see him play, Skip. This is kind of like the basketball season started in October. So imagine getting a gift on Christmas and your parents say, well, you can't open it till St. Patrick's Day. Because that's what we got, Skip. The season's 3 months old, and here he is making his debut tomorrow night. But look, the Pelicans have been playing really well.
Yes.
They lost a 3-point game to the Clippers on Saturday. They blew out Memphis, who's been playing really well. Brandon Ingram, Skip, he should be an all-star. And you can make a case he should be an all-star. He's been unbelievable. Now, it's going to be interesting to see because a lot of this, obviously, Zion has been out. True Holiday hadn't been there also.
But he just got back last night. He just got back. And with a bang, he came back.
36.
So his numbers might go down. B.I.'s numbers might go down also. But Zion, Skip, you know you're going to get highlight plays. This is what New Orleans, look, you took this kid. You know what he is. He's box office. Yeah. And so I just hope he can control his weight. So you can see him, Skip, for a 10-year stretch without these injuries. But I'm afraid when you're that explosive at that size, something got to give. That's a lot of force and times mass.
You're still skeptical.
I am, Skip. I'm just a skeptic. Skip, he's 285, he's 300. 300-pound men can't do this 82 games a season.
You're also worried he's a tweener in height, like he's only, what did he measure?
6'5", 6'6". So he looked.
Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
That kind.
But Charles got that weight up under control.
Yeah, he did.
So if he can do that, Skip, okay, all bets off. But I got to see it. I got to see it to believe it.
He's going to play with extreme energy and joy that we haven't seen. I've rarely seen a kid love to play.
Right. Yeah.
Every dribble of every
You're right.
possession, the way he loves to play. I believe this league badly needed this shot of adrenaline at this point because it's been the weirdest NBA year. With all the free agent moves, I thought this team and that team and this team and this team, like the West was going to be the best. And no one's taken off except the Lakers and the Clippers.
And you got the Bucks. That's it.
And the Bucks. The Bucks are still the Bucks.
Right.
And yet, you know, I thought Houston, I still think Houston could be a factor. And they've lost 6 in a row and they're in like a skunk funk right now. And James just can't even buy a basket. And he's, we're going to talk about it later, but after the game, he's out there shooting threes because he went 1 for 17 last night, which he will do on occasion. But the point is, we were all waiting for the Pelicans to take off.
Right.
And the great thing is, they have already taken off before he got back.
Right. Sure.
So he's just going to join the flow. It's not like they're saying, we just lost 13 in a row, which they did earlier in the season. And you got to come save us, young man.
Yeah.
Nope. You just got to join the flow.
Well, they're like 3.5 games out of the 8th spot.
3.5 out of the playoffs right now, and I believe they will wind up in that 8th slot.
You know what? You got to give David Griffin
You do.
a lot of credit. Alvin Gentry, a lot of credit, because when they assembled all these pieces, they didn't think of this team being a playoff team. They just looked at this team for the future.
Right.
3 or 4 years down the line, these young guys are going to develop. You bring Zion in the fold. This team is going to be on the uproar. They've already gotten there, like you said, and they're playing at a great pace for a basketball team. They get up and down the floor.
They're young, they can.
And they having fun. You can see them enjoying the game. Like you said, Zion plays with a passion that we haven't seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. I saw it in high school. I saw it at Duke. When he's on the basketball court, he plays like it's going to be his last game.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I'm going all out. We need that enthusiasm on the basketball court in the NBA, because we don't see that until playoff time most of the time. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you, Skip. This is a shot that the NBA needed to have this young man come into the league.
Wasn't magic like that?
Oh, no doubt about it.
Just every night.
No doubt about it. And he did it with a smile.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Magic did it with a smile. So you can see how much he enjoyed playing basketball, how much he enjoyed the competition. I see that with Zion as well.
Because how many nights did you walk out there and maybe you were just a little off and you didn't feel like it, and then you see that guy, 32, and he's just like just spilling energy.
Well,
right?
you walk in sometimes, Shannon, you notice, and you just, like you said, you don't feel it.
Don't feel it.
You're in practice, you going through the layup line and everything, getting ready for a game. You go to the bench and Magic over there, baby B, let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. It's time to go. All you do then is, let's do this.
Yeah.
That energy all of a sudden comes back up. That's the type of player that Magic Johnson was every single night. And I think this young man has that type of appeal.
Baby B, I like that.
Baby B, let's go.
Baby B.
Let's see, you got to understand, Buck Rome is what we used to call Magic.
Yeah.
Right. So when he hollered, baby B, I was, Buck Rome, I'm ready. You're right. Let's go. Let's do this.
Right.
He gonna dunk on somebody.
So there's a baby B that plays for the Pelicans. His last name is Ball, unfortunately for him. And his first name is Lonzo. And I'm a big fan. He's still skeptical, but since Christmas, Lonzo has been taken off. He's averaging 15, 8, and 7, I think it is. But he's shooting almost 40% from 3 since Christmas. And that shot is over here now.
It's gotten better.
It's over here.
A lot better.
And it looks real to me.
Yeah.
It looks authentic from over there. And I can't wait to see he and Zion on the break, because Lonzo was born to run the break.
Sean Kemp.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, because Lonzo, with the ball in his hands, he can fly up the floor at 6'7". And just wait until they get some rhythm going. And listen, Alvin, they push it like crazy.
Well, they're young.
Yeah.
Like Shannon said, they got so many young legs, you can push them all day.
21?
Yeah, you can make them run all day.
Yes, I think you're like 21.
Well, here we go.
I'm with you. I've always been a Lonzo Ball fan. I didn't look at him like a whole lot of people said this guy's going to be a superstar. But I think he's going to be a great player for 10 years. Right. I don't know if he'll be an all-star and all that stuff, but he's going to be a very good player in the NBA for 10 years. You put him in the right situation, I think he will flow. You got rim runners on this team. You got young legs that can run down the floor on this team. You got guys who can spot up and shoot threes on this team. You get the ball in his hands off a rebound or an inbound pass, and he push it, you know you're going to get the ball, because he is so willing to pass the ball.
Is he? Too willing sometimes.
Sometimes, yes.
Yep.
Lonzo's 22,
Here we go.
Zion 19. They're young. He's going to be rested and ready.
Must
Finally,
see
the
TV.
wait is over.
So how old is B.I.?
Oh, I didn't look up B.I. I thought you were
21, 22, yeah.
22.
So that's the 3 of them.
Yeah.
So now you heard him earlier this year. He talking about max contract. He said, I saw guys in my draft class already got these max contracts. He like, what's up?
Yeah.
So Skip, he won't.
He playing like it.
178.
He playing like it.
He want Chris Middleton money. Whatever that is, 190, whatever that is.
All right.
He wants it.
He playing like
Ingram's
it.
22 as well, so you're right. Okay, here's the thing. It's so good to have you, Byron.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Always our pleasure to have you.
No mercy.
All right, LeBron not only took a 32-point loss in Boston yesterday, he was also posterized by Jaylen Brown. After the dunk, Brown received a technical foul for staring down LeBron, and Brown called it a pretty awesome moment and admitted that dunking on LeBron had been on his bucket list. LeBron, on the other hand, downplayed the whole thing. Take a listen.
Why would I take it personal? You don't take it personal. It's part of basketball. Guys, you go for blocks, you get dunks, you get crossed over at times, you get stops, take charges. That's all part of basketball. think if you were to tally up my successful block attempts compared to my successful dunk-ons, I think I'm kind of more like, so it's not the first time I've been dunked on, might not be the last time I get dunked on.
All right,
Wow.
Shannon.
Yeah, you
What
heard
happened?
it. You heard it, Skip?
Not
Was
the
that
first,
real?
not the
Or
last.
was that like some kind of CGI thing? Did that really happen in the game?
It happened.
It happened.
So
It
I
happened.
will start with you. Scale of 1 to 10. How embarrassing was this for LeBron?
I'll give it 3, 4, something like that.
3, 4?
3 or 4.
Three and a half, or-
Wait, is that 34 on the scale?
No, 3 or a 4. 4.
Either or?
Skip, man, it's a 4. Look, it's the NFL. It's like if you play receiver, Skip, you know somebody's gonna get a good hit on you. Somebody gonna have your helmet twisted, and everybody like, ooh, you see that hit, man? Ooh, he lit Shannon up. That happens. If you play receiver, you gonna get one of those. But you also get a chance to get a stick up. Have the referee do this right here. Stick up. Give it up. So Skip, it happens. I'm surprised because I didn't think he was gonna dunk it, Skip, and he kept going up. I like Inspector Gadget. I was like, oh. That's what I knew he was gonna dunk it.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah, that's what I knew he was gonna dunk
Couldn't
it.
tell.
When like LeBron started and it started to come down, and he was still going up. I like, this ain't gonna end well. But Skip, look, we know LeBron, Nurkic hadn't played yet. Bron batted bagged this man 2.5 years ago. DJ, you got that footage? Drop that sound for me right quick. Watch this right here. That's what I'm talking about. That's a 10.
And that was the end of Nurkic, as we knew him.
Oh.
He's gone. Body bag.
He's body bag.
That's a different-
who he get? Bill Lisa got him this year. Got Sarich when he was in Philly. That's what you do. But it happens, Skip Bayless, because guess what? I ain't want to pull this footage, but if anybody want to know, go check 1992 when the mailman dunked on Michael Jordan. And you could also go back and catch John Stark, got him and Ho Grant. But that ain't none of my business.
Really?
Go ahead, Skip.
So my question is LeBron okay? Because I think he got body bagged by Jaylen Brown. What, by Jaylen Brown? Is he okay?
Them young legs, Skip.
Is
them
he
young
okay?
legs. Yeah, he fine.
Give me your number.
It looked like, oh, that's a good question. I got to get back to your question. I would give this because it is the GOAT, you say. Yeah. I would say this is a 10. Well, again, it's pretty embarrassing when you're a LeBron James.
Also,
you are the king.
What they got to do with
And
it?
you get uncrowned in Boston. You get your crown knocked right off the top of your head. And it was one of those where, is he gonna do? Wait, he did it.
Yes.
Is he gonna do that?
Yep.
And
He kept elevating.
LeBron is thinking about contesting, and then at the last second, LeBron says, "Whoops, I got caught in the wrong place, and I got to try to get out of here." But he couldn't get out fast
What
enough.
happens, Skip, is that normally when you see a guy coming like that, he's going to jump off one foot and go to the rim. He vert jumped it. He jumped off both feet. That's Dominique Wilkins. He's the guy that would posterize you. Sean Kemp could posterize. But you don't see a lot. Most NBA players, Skip, when they go, they're coming off one foot because they can jump higher off one than both.
Listen, Jaylen Brown has freaky
Yes! And he kept,
athleticism.
that's
He
what I
can
like.
Spring.
I like,
Whew.
he's still going up. This ain't going to end well.
It's on his bucket list. He had to get
But
it done.
Skip, it happens. You make it seem like NBA players don't get dunked on. They do.
Okay, but LeBron tried to dismiss it as it happens to everybody. You get crossed over, you get blocked, you take a charge.
Ask Tiago Splitter what happened. You remember when Tiago tried that on him? You remember Tiago, right?
So why is it always foreign big white guys that you say he dunks? Okay, so it's Bielitsa, it's Nurkic,
Yeah.
it's
Sorry.
Tiago Splitter.
Sorry here.
None of these guys can jump like 1 inch off the ground.
Hey, well, hold up. There's another video. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's a 10. That's a 10, Skip Bayless.
You're just pulling the tape.
You see that?
Is that Bielitsa?
Yes. That tells the rest of your foreign homies. I got more of that. Where'd that come from?
Huh. I think everybody in the league just got even with LeBron James.
No, they did. No.
Because, listen, it's a fair fight with Jaylen Brown. Those aren't fair fights.
Yes, it is.
They're just standing still.
They're 7 foot tall.
just standing still. They can't jump 1 inch off the
Skip,
floor.
LeBron was up under the basket. You make it seem like he came from distance and tried to block it. That wasn't Dr. J dunking on Michael Cooper when he swept the floor with it. That wasn't a situation like that.
You know, I hate to say it, but it looked like year 17 LeBron to
Oh,
me.
my goodness.
He was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
He got caught slipping. It happens.
And the
it's
only
the
thing
NBA.
that took away from it is that Jaylen Brown embraced it a little too much afterward because he's like, I can't lie. This was on my bucket list, right? Like he.
I don't know if it was on no bucket list.
Okay, it's like it was the biggest thing that ever happened in his career. He's really good. He's got all-star capability in him, right? And so the point is that Jaylen Brown got him, and LeBron tried to dismiss it, but we all know that in the end, he got.
Yeah, he got him.
Right?
He got him. It happens, Skip.
And then I wasn't watching this because I was watching the Laker feed here locally, but on TNT, then I saw on the internet that Chris Webber compared that dunk to remember the Prince dunk in the Chappelle, the Dave Chappelle skit?
Yeah.
So we even got that going because he hung with one arm on the rim and just gloated. And then the beauty of it was he's taunting LeBron James and gets a technical foul. That's the ultimate disgrace for the King.
Skip.
He got taunted, dunked on and taunted.
It's the NBA. There are taller men dunking on taller men. It happens. It's just like football. Sometimes, Skip, sometimes you get to move like Lamar Jackson. Sometimes there's a lot of highlights where Lamar Jackson putting moves on somebody. But there's a lot of shots where somebody caught Lamar Jackson slipping and hit him before he got out of bounds. That's going to happen. Okay, you play in the NBA, you're going to get dunked on. James Harden going to sit down on you. Kyrie going to cross you up. Steph Curry going to step back like he did Chris Paul. It happens, Skip.
So I'm expecting that the box score tomorrow night from the Knicks-Lakers game, we'll see LeBron at the bottom, and it'll say DNP body bag. DNP body bag, right?
We will get RJ Barrett
body
tomorrow.
bag.
We will get RJ Barrett.
You're going to dunk on RJ?
Yep.
Okay, that would be more of a fair fight. Don't bring me these big foreign stiffs that you dunk on.
We might get Mitchell Robinson, too, while we at it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a fair fight.
Yeah, all of them fair.
That's a fair fight. Jaylen Brown versus LeBron, fair fight. LeBron took
And
that
next
one.
Tuesday, we going to catch somebody else slipping.
So LeBron said after the game that the James gang took 2 L's yesterday,
They caught 2 of
including Bronny, but I think they took 3 L's because they took one there from Jaylen Brown. That's the ultimate disgrace.
That's a busy
It was a big L.
Hold on. You make it seem like Daniel Tice dunked on him. You just said that the man is very athletic.
I said.
Yeah, he's got all-star potential.
Okay, but you tell me LeBron James is the greatest athlete who ever walked on the planet. Well, am I right?
Hold on. You do remember what Michael looked like in Washington, right? He was getting dunked on. It was not dunking on anyone.
I don't remember him getting dunked on in Washington.
Hold on. Do you remember John Starks? Caught him at the Garden, him and Horace Grant? You remember that one, though. Everybody remember that. They was talking about it. That was before social media. And the mailman got him, too, delivered.
All I can remember is 6 championships in 6 tries with 6 MVPs in the finals, and that means game over.
Well, Skip, okay.
That never happened to Michael Jordan.
He did all of that, but he got poked on a couple of times. It's okay. It's gonna happen. Guess what? Jerry Rice got his wig split a bunch of times on that slant route. It happens. So did Michael Irvin, Chris Carter, Shannon. Yeah, all of us. It's gonna happen. If you play,
that's not like the disgrace of getting dunked on.
Oh, yes, it is.
No.
Oh man, you see what they did to Jerry? Man, they called Jerry. Yes. Do you remember when Rodney Harrison put his helmet right here on Jerry?
I do. Yep.
It happens, Skip. Dunks happen. You make it seem like Muggsy Bogues dunked on LeBron.
No. But it felt like Muggsy Bogues. Yep.
That man's 6'9". He did elevate, Skip. I was surprised. Like I said, I was like, when he turned the corner on Danny Green, I was like, he ain't gonna dunk that because I saw LeBron coming, and I was like, oh, he about to. I was like,
no.
Still. I was like, dude.
All you said? Oh.
I was like, dude, still going up.
He seemed
Okay, Skip. Okay, look. He was going to the 10th floor. He dropped LeBron off at the 8th. Okay, it happens.
DNP body bag.
No,
we'll stick with 3 losses for the day. It was a lot going on.
But he ain't get it like LeBron got Nurkic.
Good thing they're off today, though. He can rest up.
No mercy.
Patrick Mahomes has not only led his team to the Super Bowl, but he has also passed Tom Brady for the most merchandise sales this year since March. Brady had occupied the top spot the previous 2 seasons, but now sits in second behind Mahomes. So, Shannon, feeling you're going to like this one. What does it tell you?
He's an up-and-coming star, Skip, in this league. People wanted to see if he's legit. Yeah, you won the MVP, but what can you do? Can you follow it up? Now, I'm sure now that the Super Bowl, because everybody's going to want a Mahomes Super Bowl with that Super Bowl logo on it, Skip. And that's why Tom Brady, because Tom Brady goes to the Super Bowl almost every year. So I got to get this year's Super Bowl jersey with the logo on it. But this year is going to be Mahomes boy. Plus, Skip, he's doing commercials now. You see the State Farm commercial with Aaron Rodgers. So he's putting himself more out there. And so, yes, I'm not surprised this has happened. The best players, normally they're quarterbacks, they have the number one selling jersey, and he's the best player in the league, Skip. So I'm not surprised by this at all.
What intrigues me is that I think we all experienced a year ago when Brady completed 3 straight 3rd and 10 passes in overtime to win at Kansas City, a little bit of Brady burnout going toward another Super Bowl. I think the whole nation had a little bit of Brady burnout. Maybe you can call it Brady, Belichick, Patriot burnout. But it was mostly based on number 12. And yet, he still hung in there, and he's only second on this list. And the shock to me, the most telling development to me is that Tom Brady at age 42 is still vying with Mahomes for being the most popular merchandise.
He's still the face of the NFL, but let me ask you a question. Who's the number one in the NBA? In year 17, who's number one?
Wait a second. How did he get in this conversation?
Not sure.
Is that all you had? Is to reach for LeBron?
Because I'm saying, Skip, when you're the face, he's still the face of the league. And plus, all those Super Bowls, Skip, because every year, how many jerseys? They got a home jersey, they got a away jersey, they got a throwback jersey, they got the color rush. So I got to get all the time. Skip, people say, man, I got every last one of Tom Brady's jerseys. I got the Super Bowl with all 9 Super Bowl insignia jerseys. So, yes, people are like, well, how many Tom Brady jerseys do you need? Well, I need every last one of them. That's the same thing they say about GOAT.
GOAT?
Yep, Goat James.
Yep. You mean the guy who got dunked on last night? I think people might
gonna let it go.
They might just be burning his jersey right?
Who the lean vote getter? Lean all-star game.
No, he is. But he's 35 and Tom Brady is 42.
But it's equivalent.
Did you see Tom Brady at the Conor McGregor fight the other night? Did he not look like a stud?
I loved his outfit.
Woo.
Oh, my goodness.
I kept thinking, did Giselle pick that, or is that just Tom has really good style?
I think he got stylist. But anyway.
Giselle let him go to Vegas, and then he went right on to Kansas City.
And where did he go to Kansas City to see?
Yeah.
The new face.
Yeah.
Yes, the new face of the NFL.
Yeah.
My homeboy.
He's got to put his arm around him.
Because he put foots in him.
Yeah.
You remember last time you saw Tom Brady, 23 straight points. Put foots in Tom.
Put foots in him?
Yeah.
I don't remember
right up in New England. Why you think they had to go? Why you think they had to take the show on the road if they'd have won, if they'd have beat Tennessee, which they didn't?
What you can't give into is that Tom Brady is still the face of the National Football League. You just can't. It irks you. It irritates you. It eats at you.
My homeboy is now.
Okay. Look at all the people below the list, and Tom Brady is still hanging in. It's like 1A is Tom Brady.
Look who's number 4. Dude won like 3 or 4 games.
Okay, but going into the year, you thought Baker was going to be number 1, right?
This started March 1 through November 30th. So
All that hype.
All the Baker
all the hype. Because remember, Skip, all the money was coming in MVP. Caesar said they're receiving heavy money on Baker being MVP. Look at who's third. The best player on the Cowboys. That's who third is. Who is Skip? Because people that got the list at home. Tell them who third is.
I need a new one.
I know. I was going to say, you're supporting this list.
I might be able to make him second. I'll have to buy a couple of more jerseys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, Zeke Elliott.
Yeah. But actually, the Cowboys are third because that's just a Cowboys.
Zeke. It says Zeke.
So think about this. Tom Brady is ahead of Ezekiel Elliott, Baker Mayfield, Odell, Khalil Mack. Aaron Rodgers is way down at 7th. Are you kidding me? After he stunk it up against the 49ers. And then Dak is down there at 8th, but he's still in the top 10. And then Saquon, and then Juju. And Tom Brady, who doesn't fit on this list? Oh, Tom Brady is 42 years old.
Tom Brady what did he just come off? It started March 1st. What had just happened? They had just won the Super Bowl a month earlier.
Yeah.
That's the hype.
Yeah, but Shannon Sharpe was on Undisputed saying it was an ugly Super Bowl and he was pathetic.
He still won. He still won the game.
You.
I'm just happy I don't think we're going to have a low-scoring Super Bowl this year.
But
Let me just say
my
that.
homeboy, there's a new face. I mean, look, even the Marlboro Man, he changed. They had a new Marlboro Man, didn't they?
You know what you're forgetting? Pretty soon, Tom Brady's going to have a new team with a new jersey. Ooh. It could be an L.A. Chargers jersey. It could be who knows where.
They're going to be looking like Joe Namath out there with the Chargers.
You think so?
Yep.
Like Joe was with the Rams?
Rams.
I covered Joe with the Rams, and it was pretty pathetic.
It didn't look good.
It was terrible. I actually wrote his retirement story. He gave that exclusively to me, believe it or not. That's a true story.
Well, maybe the other guy gave you his too.
Who? Tom Brady?
Yeah.
He might.
Yeah.
He owes me for it.
Yeah, you sure do. 'Cause you've been caping standing for it for a long time.
Well, here's what's going to happen. Once Tom goes to, who knows, the Chargers, all of a sudden, those jersey sales are going to vault him back to number 1 because everybody's going to need a number 12 Chargers jersey.
But what happens when my homeboy win that Super Bowl? Everybody going to want a number 15. Super Bowl winning.
What's going to happen when the 49er defense terrorizes him and he throws 3 interceptions and you're like, I got to go talk about this on Monday?
I mean, you don't believe he's going to throw three interceptions, do you?
I think there's potential for it.
I think there's a greater potential of him throwing 5 tubs as opposed to 3 INTs.
Well, the greatest cornerback ever is sitting in a zone over there. You better be
there you go.
You better be careful of that guy.
You keep trying to antagonize Sharpe. Sharpe, well, look. All you can do, see, that's what you want to do. So you want to make it about Patrick Mahomes. You don't want to give him no credit. You want to say it's the receiver who couldn't throw to Tyreek and Sammy and
That's
Kelce.
a good question. That's a good question. Can you imagine what Tom Brady would have done in the Kansas City offense with those weapons, that line?
Can you imagine what Mahomes would have done last year with a Coach Belichick defense?
Yeah, he would have.
Tom Brady.
He would have led the league in interceptions with that group that they had up there.
Skip, they finished number 1 in the defense last year.
You want to see how he could throw to Mohamed Sanu?
All right.
Or Gunnar Olszewski.
Oh,
We're going to have to check back on this list.
Yeah.
No mercy.
James Harden struggled last night, going 1 for 17 from three-point range and a loss to the Thunder. It was the 4th straight loss for the Rockets, and Harden has shot under 18% from 3 in that stretch. So, Shannon, what is going on with James Harden?
Just a slump. He shot himself in it. He'll shoot himself out of it. That's what he does, Skip. He's a volume shooter. And would I be surprised if the next game James Harden doesn't score 60 points? Nope. Because that's what he does. He's just going to take up shots. He's not going to let me get others involved while I break out of this slump. He's going to shoot himself out of the slump just like he shot himself into the slump. Skip, even though as bad as he shot, 1 for 17, he had 29 points on 29 shots. They still won by 16. So what they got to do is his shooting had nothing to do with that. Can they play a little D? Just a little bit.
They gave up a 27-7 run at home while Russell Westbrook had 32 points, 11 rebounds, and 12 assists. That's a big-time game.
Yep.
And you don't think that tore Russell's guts out to lose to his former team with a triple-double like that? Because they degenerated into, I was just in awe watching the end of this game. James just trying to go dribble, shoot, dribble, shoot, and he just kept shooting, but he was clearly frustrated, and his confidence right now is just shattered because he's not getting the calls he used to get.
Right.
Because he's not making the shots. The refs go as you go.
Right.
Like, if you're on fire, if you're the greatest offensive player ever, which he has been called, man, then if you back that up, they're going to keep sending you. You'll get 20 free throws. That's how they do it. That's how you have to make your way. You have to earn your free throws with the
But
referee.
think about this, Skip. At the end of the ball game, where they were up with like a point, they put the ball in Schroeder's hand and so go one-on-one with James Harden. That's what they did.
Yeah, but I think Schroeder is really. I've always thought he's underrated because he is hard to guard.
He is.
Man.
He gave it to him last night. Chris Paul, don't think Chris Paul wasn't happy with his performance last night either.
Loved it. But at least James went back out on the floor and started shooting threes.
Oh, he gonna shoot, Skip, but that's the thing. That's his how to Houston get out of everything. Their adjustment is James score more points.
I know.
Get out of this slump, James shoot more.
All right, that is it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.